So I needed a lot of help. Um, but I had nobody coordinating my care, no one overseeing it, no one interested in it. I had had some carpal tunnel tests done in September, like a month before the accident. I had some mild carpal tunnel or moderate. Um, it didn't bug me. I had a bit of tingling. But after this accident, when my thumbs were full shoved and still remain out of the socket, very bizarre looking hands, you can see, um, my arms were on fire. And I went to my rheumatologist and begged for him to do something. I said, "You have to do something. This is waking me all night. I can't sleep." I told him about the accident, um, but he neglected me. He forgot to refer me to the surgeon. And by the time they did surgery, my medial nerve in my right arm had completely died from double crush, which is impingement at the neck, impingement at the wrist. But to cover his own ass, dear Doug, the rheumatologist, tells lawyers, whoever he can tell, that, she already had carpal tunnel. Well, I didn't already get hit by a car, did I, Doug? So he lies for as long as he can. My surgery happens in July. He doctors his own notes and writes after the surgery date that he was referring me for surgery in August or in September, but I'd already had the surgery. This is how bad the guy lied. And of course, he retired. So if you live in Canada, you know, so sad, too bad. No one's going to take on a doctor. No one's going to hold a doctor accountable. I've had so many horrific experiences with Canadian healthcare. So Dr. Dougie just gave me one pill after the other. Nothing for pain because they don't, if you're a woman and you're in pain in Canada, they put you on antidepressants. Yeah, even though 80% of overdoses on fentanyl and such drugs are men, these old doctors don't even know that. They don't pay any mind to what's happening today. So every woman gets treated like she's hysterical, basically, like we're stuck in the 40s and the 50s. So by the time I have the wrist surgery, my pain is full blown. My neck's on fire. I can't move. I'm struggling to teach and to do my own movement, trying to stay in the land of the living after sleeping for 5 months mostly with my concussion. I lose all my income, of course. So I have no money for treatment and I have no financial help for my treatment. If you don't know anything about Canadian insurance, well, first off, we're not like the Brits. You know, the Brits pay for counseling up to 20 sessions a year. Just try and get Sun Life to pay for your counseling. They make it impossible. Insurance companies like Sun Life in Montreal won't pay for you if you're in Manitoba. They find every way they can to discriminate against me. The exact same credentials are approved for treatment in Quebec, but a person with those credentials in Manitoba, and I have a specific example, they won't be covered. So my private plan that I pay for allows me to see my osteopath for 1.5 treatments a year. My bill for osteopathy is close to $5,000 a year. In fact, my total healthcare bill since my accident is over $250,000. But the most I could get in my settlement was $28,000. Unbelievable, eh? Because in any accident settlement, the first thing the Ontario government does is steal $30,000 right off the top. Aren't they amazing, eh? They just steal it. To punish you for getting a lawyer and fighting with the insurance companies. That's what you get. So that's Canadian healthcare. There ain't any. So I have carpal release, and the surgeon says to me, "It's FUBAR. I've never seen anything like it." Well, that's because the damn thing was dying from the day of my accident till 6 months later when I got the surgery. And things don't get better. I've still never had an MRI. I have shoulder pain, hip pain, knee. No one will look at me. My hands hurt. No one will help me. Um, and no one who treats me will even deal with the insurance companies, will even try. The Ontario insurers will have them submit 17,000-page forms and just deny them. So they prevent you. Insurance in Ontario prevents you from getting the physical help, the health care you need after an accident. That's how they force you into settling for way less money, for nothing, basically. It took me 11 years to settle my court case. And it only went to settlement after I called out my insurance company for manipulating and doctoring documents and throwing out doctors' reports, believe it or not. So I had to go to every doctor I'd ever seen and request original reports to verify what the insurance company had not provided. Anyway, so the next surgery I have is my gallbladder. My gallbladder shuts down. At the time of my accident, I did not realize what leaky gut was. I didn't know that my entire viscera was damaged from my ribs hitting the ground. So as I got the concussion, I also got damage internally. Things happened that I couldn't explain. I had 16 bladder infections in a year and a half. And basically what was happening was I was bleeding from my bladder because it had taken a big bashing. No one figured that out. In 2014, I found out about functional neurology, and I found a doctor in Long Island, New York, who actually did some tests. And he told me about the damage, the leaky gut that had been done from my accident to my stomach. Now, find a GP, they don't even know what that is. Leaky gut is more becoming in the conversation now, but for the most part in that time frame, even though I had dislocated ribs and collarbone, nobody would even acknowledge that I had a leaky gut. And this was confirmed from tests that showed my food wasn't getting digested. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't manage my own pain. I drank too much alcohol because that was the only thing I could do to just not be in my painful body, which wasn't helpful either. And so in 2015, after my gallbladder's removed, I have surgery and I'm alone with a puppy because this is how my life is. And I think, I can't do this anymore. I can't live in a city, have no help, have no one to count on, no one that cares. So I packed it all up, everything I had. And in July, after being screwed over the 50th time by family court, that's another series of videos. I moved back to Winnipeg because I've had enough, had enough. My ex abandons me, tells me I wasn't what he signed up for when I'm at the height of this condition. I'm wearing diapers to bed because I can't control my stomach. And I got somebody telling me I'm just not good enough for them anymore. So no wedding, even though there was we were still engaged, but as if he's going to marry me, right? I'm not good enough now. So I moved to Winnipeg, and I just try to be okay, but I'm not. I get a functional neurologist, thank God. That part of the reason why I moved back to Winnipeg, and an osteopath. And between those two people, they literally saved my life. I have surgery on my left arm to rebuild my thumb socket and to take tendon from my arm and wrap my thumb to create like a faux joint. But as you can see, it's still not, there is no thumb socket there. The right thumb is destroyed and wasted away to nothing. The tissue's dead from being left for so long waiting for surgery. But also, I go through multiple tests with these psychiatrists and neurologists, and they show that there's something neurological. So my C11 died in my neck, literally the nerve to my trap muscle died. So there was a big hole here. It took 5 years for me to recover that because you can rewire your brain, but you have to work hard and you suffer through that work, especially without anything for pain. So I used acupuncture, osteopathy, functional neurology, and I had all these drugs that dear Dougie put me on. And slowly, after realizing what he did to me, I come off of them one at a time. First the Plaquenil, then I stopped taking Lyrica, then I stopped taking, I had different anti-inflammatories. I couldn't take them anyway. They made my stomach too sick. Not taking those. Then I come off my stomach meds that I've been on from the 2002 when I developed upper GI ulcers when my ex left me and I had to go to family court, IBS, all that stuff followed. So I slowly come off of everything except my thyroid pill and one horrible drug that dear Dougie put me on. And that's time for another video.